Hi, and welcome to BrightPay, the payroll software. In this session, we're going to see how can we set up a new company or new employer on the BrightPay software. Now, that will be quite easy and straightforward, but few things we have to know before we set up the new company in the payroll. So once you open the BrightPay software, this window will be open on your computer screen. And the first thing you have to do, you have to create the new employer. Now you can create the new employer by clicking Add a new employer, or you can click Create an employer from the down menu and it will take you to the same option. Also, if you already used BrightPay before and if you like to get the backup straight away and restore in this software, with the new one or any previous one, you can do with the browsing. Also, it is possible you can import the file from different payroll software. For example, if your current software is Iris or 12Pay and you are planning to move to the BrightPay software, so what you can do, you can get the backup from that software, for example Moneysoft, for example 12Pay, for example Iris, and all you have to do, you have to browse that file into this software, and all the information, the employees and the pay information, everything will be automatically uploaded or updated in this software. So this is quite amazing. If you're already using any other software and if you're planning to move to BrightPay, you can do it really quick. On the other hand, if you never used any software before and if you like to use the BrightPay, or if you don't have the backup from the previous software, sometimes happen, maybe the client come to you from a different accountant and the accountant don't give the backup with old software. So in this case, you have to set up a new employer on your software. So in this case, we're going to click Create New Employer. Now as soon as you click New Employer, this window will be open. So once this window open on your computer, so you have to click Next to see what is the next option. Now to set up a payroll, there are few information that is essential to submit the RTI to HMRC and tell which employer submitting the information to HMRC. Now if you are a company, you should apply for PAYE reference number or accounts office reference number to HMRC. So any limited company, as long as the employee, one employee, they have to apply to HMRC for PAYE reference number and the accounts office reference number through the government gateway ID. So this information will help HMRC to identify which company is submitting the information for the employees. So it's very important. Before you set up the payroll, you have to have this information on your hand because the software will ask you that information. So once you click the next, the three options will be open. Now this three option is very important. The first one is says start beginning of 21 and 22. That means I'm starting my payroll from beginning of the year. Now it is possible when you start your payroll software at the end of the tax year. For example, from April, you start your new software till next year March. Now, if it is not possible, you will have another option. The next one we have here is start part way in 21-22. That means you are in the middle of the year. So select this option if you are starting payroll part way in 2021 tax year with no previous payroll record. So it is possible you have no employee at the beginning of the year, but you have employee at the middle of the year. So in this case, you can choose that. And finally, the next option is continue part way in 21 and 22 tax year. This is happen when you already have some employee on the payroll and you are planning to change this employee to the new payroll. So that means you can start very fresh at the starting of the year. You can start middle of the year without any previous information, or you can start with the employee at the middle of the year. So you already used another software, now you're planning to move to BrightPay. So in this case, you have to choose that one. The reason we have to know the difference, because if employee is already working for your company and if you move to the new software will have no idea how much the employee earned with the previous period. In this case, you have to enter this information manually. So the cumulative pay to date you have to enter manually. So you have to be careful. Otherwise, at the end of the year, the P60 will show the wrong figure because P60 will not know this employee was working in the same company with another software. So you have to be very careful in this matter. The next thing we're going to see, the name of the company. So name of the company could be anything. Let's say we choose X Limited, and you have to write the company name here. Then you have to write the address and the country where the company is operating. Then you click the next. The next one is the information, as I said, for your PAYE reference number and the accounts office reference number. Without these two information, the RTI will not be submitted to HMRC. If you don't know what is RTI, it's a real-time information telling the HMRC how many employees you have and how much they are earning. And before you pay to the employees, you have to submit the RTI to HMRC to telling them you are going to pay this amount to those employees. So without this, your payroll will not be completed. So let's make a PAYE reference number, just like for example, and we need the accounts office reference number. Obviously, without that, the RTI will not be submitted. So for the time being, we really don't need this to set up a company, but without this, the RTI will not be submitted. So after we have a small employer relief. Now this one is only for the company who comes under the small employer, and a small employer have some condition. You can read that small employer relief. So if you comes under that, for example, if your turnover is less than 2 million, if you have a employees number, so if you fulfill the condition, then you can click a smaller employer relief. This one will help you to claim 4,000 employer allowance for the year. So the 4,000 employer allowance, that means you don't have to pay the allowance up to 4,000. So if the employee worked for your company and if the PAYE is 4,000 pound, and it will be automatically adjusted through the payroll and you don't have to pay anything. So this is the allowance the company get. But remember, if the director have another company or more than one company, he can only claim the employer allowance only for one company, not for all the company. The next option we have benefit. So obviously it is the kind benefit for the employees. If any employees receive any additional benefit from the company, for example, if the company provide any car or mobile phone or a laptop to the employees, you have to declare to HMRC, so you can use that form to tell HMRC. The next information we have the department. For example, if you set up the payroll for a school, now a school can have a few departments, for example, maths, science, English, ICT, cleaning. There could be a lot of departments. So you can add the department and you can allocate the employee based on that department. So you can say like, okay, this is Mr. David, he's a maths teacher. This is Mr. Roy, he's a accounts office clerk. So in this way, you can find the report the way you want. In future, if you like to see how much your salary paying for which department, you'll be able to find the report easily through this department. The next one we have here, that is the employees information. This is first time you put to set up the employees. The first time you need to say how you pay your employee. Now you can pay monthly, it is possible to pay weekly, it is possible to pay fortnightly, if you possible to pay quarterly, but normally we pay employee monthly, so by default you can say it is monthly. Then how you pay. So you can pay monthly rate. So let's say per month the employee receive the same salary. You can pay the hourly rate, how many hours they work. Based on that it will be multiplied. Or they can get the daily rate. So if the employee work one day, he get £200, 2 days £400. So the way you like, you can choose from there. Then next option we have here, how you pay the employee. Credit transfer means when you transfer from your bank to the employee bank. So you can choose, you can pay by cash and check as well, but normally the company pay to the bank account straight away from the company bank to employee bank. So you can say credit transfer. The next one we have the holiday, when the company start holiday. Now leave year normally start when the tax year start, that is 6th April, but different company can have a different option. So if the company said no, we only do holiday from September to September, or they can do July to June. So it depends on the company structure, but normally most of the company choose the holiday year start when the tax year start. Then holiday leave, normally the government have a statutory holiday that is 28 days minimum, that is 5.6 weeks. But few companies, they can increase the holiday for the employees. For example, you can offer more than 5.6 weeks. There is no restriction for that, but this is the minimum you have to pay to your employees. The next one is how many days they work for the week. Now normally it is Monday to Friday by default, but some company the employee also work on weekends. So in this case you can choose which day they work. Remember, if you choose more days, it will have impact when you calculate the maternity payment, the paternity payment, and sick payment, because that time the hour will be splitted over the week. So if you say one employee work 6 days a week, then the income will be splitted over the 6 days, not 5 days. So this one will have impact on your statutory calculation. The next one we have here, this is for the pension, and of course this is the auto enrollment. This feature is also included in the software. So if the employee earn more than £192 a week, and if the employee is more than 21 years old, the company or the employers have a liability to enroll them on the pension. But of course, like there could be some exemption, or the employee maybe choose to opt out by themselves, but the company have a duties to do that. Also the company have to make the declaration to the pension regulator. So you have to tell the software what is your situation, what is that company situation you are setting up, and you can say I have been employing staff before 21-22, my first staff member will start 21-22, or I'm exempt from the auto enrollment. You can choose any of the one you like. So let's choose that one, and they said your duty start when your first member of the start. So as soon as any employee come to your payroll, your duties will be started to put them on the pension as soon as they are eligible. And after you go to the next one, then you can create some password for your payroll. So you can set up a password so that if anyone try to open this payroll to look any sensitive information, they will not be able to view that, because it will help you to protect the data. So it's always recommended you use the password so that anyone try to look at the information from the payroll, they will not be. So that's how we can protect the data, and it is always recommended to use the password. So this is the initial setup for the BrightPay payroll, and of course once you're done, you click save and finish, and you can save this file anywhere you like. So this is automatically goes to the documents on the BrightPay section, and as soon as you click the save, this file will be saved there, and this will be your backup. So anything you do now, that option will be selected automatically for your software. So in future, if you do any work in the software and if the position that was before, you can always come back here, and that's how you can set up the company on the payroll. Now you can see this company is now opened, the X Limited, and of course, like now we have some more option. We have the payroll, we have analysis, employee, HMRC, RTI, pension. So all the information we need to submit the payroll for the employees is now here, and you can start adding the employees. So on the next section, we're going to see how to set up the employees and how to import the employees, next export the employees. All of this we're going to see on our next session.